This man bends over for other men and drops to his knees for other men, and that's more important to him. Jalen Rose is like a lot of past their prime entertainers. He has no discernible, marketable skill. He's not particularly bright. He adds no real value to. He's addicted to fame and celebrity privilege. There is nothing he's unwilling to do to protect his celebrity status. Alphabet Mafia is going to emasculate every man that stands with them. It's inevitable. An overpriced underachiever such as Jalen Rose is very vulnerable right now. Drop to your knees and swallow every inch of the pride flagpole. You don't owe any loyalty to your skin color. I know that sounds crazy to many of you because you've been programmed to think that your skin color or money or Jalen Rose or popularity with celebrities is the most important thing. It is not. Their religion is their skin color. Their religion is where they stick their penis. Your sexuality, your skin color, your popularity at school, your popularity on social media. That's all idolatry. I have an idolatrous relationship with food. I talk all the time, but I'm not in denial about it. Jalen Rose, a former NBA basketball star, interviewed Billy Porter, the flamboyant, cross-dressing actor. Rose positioned Porter as a courageous freedom fighter. Let's watch for ourselves.
Hardest things for me as a Black queer person is being rejected by your own. That's the hardest part of this journey.
Yes.
For me. And, you know, I've gotten to the space, blessedly, where to reject me and to ignore me and to dismiss me is to make you look like an idiot. Start embracing our queer brothers and sisters. There are some people in positions of power now that understand we are all one. Some smart people over there at BET who said, you know what? And it's time to start talking about that because none of us are free till we're all free.
So I want to take a moment here and just unpack what you just saw. And I pound this topic constantly because I don't think people fully understand when I talk about racial idolatry. Jalen Rose is a puppet for ESPN/Disney and other corporate brands. Corporations will send their individual soldiers to the front lines of the LGBTQ war. That's the pivot. At the moment, it's too high risk for a major corporation to fly the pride flag prominently. It could trigger a boycott. Instead, they will gently nudge individual soldiers to storm the beaches. So here's Billy Porter.
And see, what hurts the most is when you're rejected by your own.
Again, for those of you that claim any religious biblical faith, who owns you? Who are you? Are you owned by the color of your skin or are you owned by God? And so when you start thinking anything is more important than God claiming you, that's idolatry. He's placed his skin color above approval from God. He thinks being rejected by his own means Black people. Those of us that are believers, we don't want to be rejected by God. And that's why we consider homosexuality, adultery, transgenderism, premarital sex. We consider all these sins like a rejection of God and being disloyal to God. And we don't want to be rejected by God. This man is sitting here worried about what Jalen Rose thinks about him and whether he's in the approval of Jalen Rose. This is idolatry. And this is the danger of man thinking he's God. And Jalen Rose sitting there nodding his head, yes, I approve of you, Billy Porter. This is the idolatrous mindset, and idolatry is at the root of all sin. Jalen Rose caught up in racial idolatry. I hammer this point constantly because I don't think Christians understand idolatry and don't understand the dangers when you start attaching your identity to all these other things and start placing more value on what Jalen Rose thinks or anybody thinks rather than what's stated in the Bible, the Word of God, God-inspired words in the Bible. Are you in alignment with that? That should be your primary concern. If it's not, you're living in a state of idolatry. And I'm not sitting here saying that I've rid myself of all idolatry. I have not. Again, and we have to come up out of the denial. They're disconnecting you from God and connecting you to your skin color. Your skin color has no power. Your skin color didn't climb up on a cross and suffer for grace and mercy for your sins. Jesus Christ did that. God sent his only begotten son to do that. And so this is how you start abandoning all your biblical values. And this is why so many black celebrities and just black people in general have become so secular. Bending over for Billy Porter, that's light work for Jalen Rose. Light work, enjoys it. You think you can just do this for a brief moment and survive. You will be emasculated at some point, publicly, privately. You will abandon every value principle that you were raised with if you keep standing with them. This will be another victory for the men and women who choose to stand with God. We don't have to drop to our knees. We get to keep our bats and balls. My optimism has returned. The other side lacks the courage for their alleged convictions. Corporate media or corporate support for the LGBTQ is solely tied to money. The shareholders and owners are not willing to sacrifice a drop of market share to proclaim their belief that Dylan Mulvaney is a woman and that kids need gender mutilating health care. We're fighting cowards. If we lose this war, it says far more about us than them.